So you haven't been trusting yourself. That's why you found this video today. Because you haven't been trusting yourself. And the challenges that are now arising in your life, or that you're met with in your life in this moment right now when you're finding this video, is because you haven't trusted yourself enough. You haven't trusted what it is that you're feeling. You've tried to react to it. You've tried to say that it should be different. Perhaps you've been listening to other people around you that's been telling you something that needs to be done, even though you know in your heart that right now I should be doing this, or that this thing means this for me, that this thing is not how it seems in the eyes of others, but very different from the perspective of where I'm coming from. And you haven't been trusting it. Otherwise you wouldn't be finding this video here today. When you start trusting yourself, everything starts to go your way. Trusting yourself is the same as trusting the universe. When you trust the universe, oh my god, life just starts to flow. Everything just starts aligning. Everything just starts going boom, 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 boom. Everything just snowballs into something, perhaps not always what you expect it to be, but something really amazing. You are in alignment when you are trusting yourself, when you are trusting the universe. And something that is good to know about this is that the reason that we do not fully trust ourselves to begin with is because we believe that there is something about who it is that we are that should be different than from how it is. We're all carrying these beliefs from our past, these stories that makes us believe, think, and react to what it is that we're actually feeling within ourselves in a way that is not authentic, but that is how we think it should be. In a lot of cases, we don't even understand when we're doing it. We're sitting here like, oh my god, something feels off, something that I'm doing right now is wrong, but I don't know what it is. We're creating resistance to something that should just flow naturally. So an example would be that over the last couple of days I felt a little bit off. I shouldn't say a couple of days, but let's just say around one day I felt off. And I started to question myself, like, why do I feel so off all of a sudden? I was feeling like I trusted the universe. I was feeling like I was trusting the process. I was trusting myself, and then all of a sudden I feel like I'm falling back into an old pattern of like doubting, of feeling like something is not as it should be. And then I realized that everything started to change as there was an idea presented to me and that there were people telling me to do it. Even though internally I knew something different about it. And I was like, yeah, maybe, maybe you're right. Maybe I should be considering this, even though I already had that hunch, that intuition, that knowing about the situation. But I still listened because there were so many compelling arguments around me as to why this thing is actually something different from my own truth. And then, without even realizing it, I kind of sold myself into that idea and I went for it. And then I found myself a day later slowly snowballing out of alignment because I didn't listen to what was being felt through my intuition and through my emotions. I didn't feel into that hunch or that feeling of this feels right. I didn't have that sensation about this thing, and so by definition that means that it's not for me. Because I know at this point in my life that if something doesn't feel really right, I'm not doing it. That is a new path forward in my life, and I know that if you found this video, that's also where you are heading right now. You're heading in the direction towards the direction of the most beautiful life that you could ever imagine. And that happens when we start doing what feels right to us. What feels right is sometimes challenging. What feels right is sometimes very easy, flowing and natural. But it all comes back to trusting yourself. What do you know to be right in this moment for you? What is joyful? Follow your joy. That's a very big and powerful way to move forward in this world, to follow your joy. And if something feels stagnant, or if something feels like, oh, there's a hidden pressure coming from somewhere, like I'm pressured to do something, then take this as a sign that you are out of alignment in this moment, and that you gotta connect back to just something of simplicity. You gotta connect back to something that feels kind of flowing. So an example would be perhaps talking to someone. Maybe you're a bit like me, where I have a hard time in a lot of cases in my past to express myself to other people, but expressing myself to other people is actually very healing. So sometimes I'll get really caught up on like some detail of my work or something, or I start working or worrying a lot about something that I'm working on, for example. And then as I snowball a little bit into that space of thinking if this is the right or the wrong thing, then I'll just catch myself and realize that, oh, I'm trying to make something happen, but there's a lot of resistance right now. What is the easy step right now? What is the easy step in this moment? Something that just feels like, oh, this hidden pressure moves away. In a lot of cases, it's just resting. In a lot of cases, it's something completely different. In your case, it could be taking action because you've held yourself back from taking action for a long time. It could be so many different things. Start following what is true to you with conviction. Start doing it as if your life depended on it. Do what is in your heart right now and flow with that. In a lot of cases, we also are carrying things that are hard to deal with, that we're not even aware of exists within us. And then you gotta allow yourself to be that part of yourself also. In a lot of cases, we're just feeling empty. In a lot of cases, we feel sadness, anger, or something else. And then it's really important to allow yourself to be sad, to be angry, to feel empty. Whatever is in this moment that you've told yourself a story about so far, that I can't trust this and that I need to do something about this. Because I want you to understand that trusting the universe is trusting what is going on internally within your energy, within your feeling state right now, without being reactive to it. A lot of the times we are unconsciously reacting to this without even being aware of it. So a little tip on how to connect back into this trusting state and this flowing state, something that I've been using a little bit, is to slow down a little bit, however you want to do that. You can do meditation, do a couple of deep breaths, just tune into this present moment a little bit so you become more aware beyond the programs that we're so caught up in usually when we are snowballing out of alignment. And just feel into yourself and see if there is something that you notice. And in a lot of cases, we don't actually notice the hidden pressure that I've been hinting towards a little bit here. We don't actually understand where it's coming from. We just feel like whatever I'm doing right now, it just feels like I can't trust the universe. And the reason why this is happening is because there is an emotion unconscious to you in this moment that you cannot actually perceive is here. But you can try and gauge a little bit what kind of emotion it is. A lot of times, we're living a whole day just waiting to start crying, except that we're not aware of the fact that we need to cry right now because we didn't allow ourselves to cry our entire life, and so we're just walking around in this very stressed state where we don't trust because we're trying to run away from what it is that we're feeling in this case. So what you can do is to just slow down a little bit and to just tune inwards and then start crying and just start that sensation of like and if there is a flow to it, if you feel like things starts to come, then you know that, oh shit, I'm currently sitting on this mountain of something that I need to become present with, and I connect to it by kind of tuning into that. You can also try to start screaming or start punching a pillow a little bit and see if there's a lot of frustration or anger within you. And then you start doing it, and then you'll feel if it starts coming, and then you're like, oh shit, there's a lot of frustration and anger within me right now that I was unaware of because I became numb to it, as I didn't trust it in my past. And up until this point, I didn't trust it. And so I need to connect back to it within my body again. And yeah, just start that process of start trying to cry a little bit. See if something comes. If nothing comes, then okay, there's nothing to cry here. Start punching a bag a little bit maybe. Release some of that frustration. See if something is flowing naturally. In some cases, There's just an emptiness here. And you just realize that, oh, I feel empty. And that feels very heavy perhaps, because this emptiness is not something that we want to feel. There could be so many different things that you are feeling. In a lot of cases, we feel like we don't feel anything. And that's a scary place to be, and has been for me. But it's okay to accept that emptiness as something beautiful, because the universe is also trying to take you forward with this emptiness. When you feel the emptiness, you make room for something new that wants to come in. So if you feel empty in this moment, and you realize that when you slow down a little bit, that, oh, I try to run away from feeling empty, just as an example, then it's also important to feel that and to not judge whatever it is that you're going to notice is actually existing within you in this moment, as you start trusting a little bit that that it's okay to just be with whatever it is that you're experiencing. You're not supposed to experience something differently in this moment. Start trusting yourself. Start feeling into who it is that you are. And be unapologetic about it. Just go for it. Feel into it. Start trusting yourself and start doing it with just overwhelming conviction. That's when you start aligning so deeply and beautifully with the universe. And all the things that you also want in this life, it's all going to start moving towards you, because you operate at such a beautiful frequency. When you're so deeply in tune with your own rhythm, with your own heart, with your intuition, with your energy, you feel amazing doing this also. You'll feel so amazing when you start trusting yourself. It feels like you're invincible. If you want to learn how to start connecting more deeply back to who it is that you are, make sure to check out my courses. I'll leave the links down below. And I'll see you in the next video, my friends.